Hi, everybody. This is Jerry Garrettson, Tabea Law, and we're going to talk about the Visa Bulletin in regards to the family based immigration. And before we do that, let's go ahead and read this. And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. So family based immigration, which is the most popular mode of immigration, is two major categories. The first one is immediate relatives. Immediate relatives are the spouse or the parent or child under 21, unmarried, of a U.S. citizen. That's the number one way, most popular way that folks get their green cards and come into this country. The other way is the um, preference categories. So once you're in a situation where you're not an immediate relative, then you have three basic, or actually four different categories where people can come in. And I'm not going to go into detail. You can actually see this on the Visa Bulletin itself. I want to talk more about the Visa Bulletin, but just for example, the first priority preference class uh, would be the unmarried adult child of a USC, United States citizen. So that'd be uh, the child that's over 21 but unmarried. Now, if they're married, then they drop down to the fourth preference, the F4. But if they're unmarried, then they're F1. Now, what happens is once you're into the preference, then you have to go to the visa bulletin. Now, immediate relatives, no visa bulletin. They come in. So, uh, as soon as you can get your I-130 sent in, then you're good to go. There's no backlogs. There's no waiting. There's no tally, or there's no certain amount of people that can come in. Now, with the preferences, there are. It's regulated. So there's only a certain amount of people that can come in as the preference categories in family based and employment based. Um, but here's where the visa bulletin comes in. First thing is that there's two of them, and they come out every month. The first is the one that comes from the Department of State, and the second is the one that comes from Department of Homeland Security via the USCIS, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. And so you got two different visa bulletins. Um, this is your major visa bulletin, the Department of State, and the reason is that it does the consular processing, and so it kind of sets the stage. The USCIS are for folks that are already in this country, and it's primarily looking at the adjustment of status. So they may already be here, and they have some kind of a status, generally B1, B2, they're tourist, or they could have a student visa, or they can have a non immigrant employment visa. And what they're doing is they're adjusting their status to an immigrant visa or to a uh, to get a green card. So what happens is that the once you file your, let's just say your um, once you file your I-130, and um, that's the starting point for getting your green card. Once you send that to the USCIS, they'll send you, or once they receive it, they'll that establishes your priority date. And that's very important, because once you have the priority date, and they'll send that back and they'll tell you what your priority date is, then you can go to your specific country that you're from, and for the type of sponsor or type of preference class that you're in, whether it's a F1, F2, F3, F4. And then you can, I don't know if you can see that. Looks a little blurry there. But anyways, you look down there and let's just say you're from India. And then you look at, let's just say preference 4. Let's say you are a child that's over 21 and you're married. Okay, well then you drop down to preference F4, which is the last preference. Well, the backlog on this is in India, it's September 15th, 2004, or I'm sorry, 2005. And this is for the December uh, Bulletin 2021 Department of State. Okay, so it's the current visa bulletin that's out there right now. And so you can see the backlog 2005. So in other words, your priority number that you get when you first initially send in your I-130 has to be on or before this date here. And actually, maybe it has to be before, not on. But anyways, so in other words, this your priority date. So in other words, you must have sent in if you're from India and you're in the F4 preference case. You must have sent in, or you must have a priority date of before September 15, 2005. That's 16 years ago. So that means the backlog is 16 years. So it's a lot uh, tougher to get your green card because um, you're not an immediate relative. If you're an immediate relative, spouse, parent, or child under 21, unmarried, there's no backlogs, there's no wait time, there's nothing. It's just, right now it's taking between 8 and 15 months to do the processing. But as soon as they process it, you get your green card and you're done. But if you fall into a preference class, then India, 15 years. So that's tough. And anyways, that's it for today, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you so much.